Hi traders, it's Chris here. Hope you are having a fantastic day. As we await the inflation figures for this week, I just thought I'd do a quick coaching lesson on the price action charts. Price action charts are available. Most of you have them. So it's always a good reminder, isn't it, just to see what we're looking for. So I've set my liquidity zones at yellow for sell and blue for buy. That's the basics of all the price action charts, and that's pretty much all you need. So you're looking for sell zones on the yellow and buy signals on the blue. Quite simple and straightforward. Now here's the New Zealand Swift, which has just hit our target, and of course what you can do is, if there is a trend line to be had, then you can draw a trend line. All you do here is grab the tool here on the left, the parallel channel, and then just draw a line to join up the dots, the trend line. So just join up the nearest lower high, and that is your trend line. Just wait for the break if you wish. The aggressive version, of course, is to get in as early as possible on the sniper trade here, which makes a lot of sense, and a couple of points to make here. Let's get rid of that. Excuse me. So you have the trend, and it's always best to have a top-down analysis. So you've got a parabolic trend. We've got the euro yen and a parabolic trend, and as you can see, it's gone. We've got a green flag: pound yen, Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, Aussie USD. Let's have a look at that. So this is the Aussie USD trade heading for our target, and you can see that it's bouncing off this order block, if you like. It's more of a liquidity zone, it's more powerful than an order block. It just tells you where the institutions are buying. So you can buy here, or you could buy here on that price as it comes back into the buy zone. And look at this trend line. First of all, you have to be buying with the uptrend. You're not looking for sells. Even if there is a yellow sell zone, you don't look for that. That doesn't make any sense. So let's have a look at a few more. Aussie USD, as you can see, has been selling off for a few weeks, and all you're doing is waiting for the price to come up into the yellow zone, and then you just sell it off. All right, again, you can draw a trend line here. Let's do that here. So you've got to just join up the dots. So you can wait for the break if you prefer. So a little bit more aggressive to sell into the yellow zone, but if you get more comfortable with that, then you're going to have a really, really tight stop. Typical 10 pip stop is very common actually with sniper trades, and a massive reward, of course, then. Gold is very mixed today due to waiting for the inflation data. It's not sure where to go now. Heading for 24.00. We've been long on this for some time on the parabolic chart. So here's the price action chart. As you can see, coming into the liquidity zone. And I've drawn a trend line here. As long as it holds on to that support line, then we can expect further upside. So a great way to trade. However, there is a catch in that you do have to be patient. Often, if I flick through these, let's have a look at the FTSE 100, you can see that this is coming back down into the liquidity zone, which is great. Good buying position here, but you can see this is achieving lower highs. And so the preference might be, when this happens, is to wait for the price to break first. Oil, let's have a look at oil. There is a trading opportunity here coming up into the liquidity zone, but again, you can wait for the break if you prefer. So it's going to be something like that, isn't it? Bitcoin, mentioned this in the VIP room. Now this is hitting liquidity at 69,247, so it's just bouncing off it pretty much now. You have to be fairly aggressive, don't you, in terms of getting this. Now the key levels for me is that you want to be buying into the liquidity zones when it's hitting a support line. So this is a better entry. I know we've had the move up, but nonetheless, the thing is with this, and calculate the stop, you can buy there and you can see the trend line. So there's a support line saying that the price is going to go up, along with the liquidity zone as well. There's your 2-to-1 there. Now in this instance, if I put an order on there, say, where is it, 69, so it's hitting its 69.22, so it's coming right into it now. So I could, for instance, put a stop here in a similar place, but the chance of you being tripped out are very, very high because there's no support for the price, if that makes sense, at this stage. And there's your, well, 8-to-1, 2-to-1 down there somewhere. But to me, it doesn't make any sense. So in this instance here, the price has broken this trend line. For now, it doesn't mean it's going to go down. It just means that there's no volume in the market. So in this instance, what I'll be waiting for is, I can see the liquidity. Is it going to hold? I don't mind what it does now, to be honest. I'm in it for the long term on the parabolic trend anyway with a wider stop. But nonetheless, if you're looking for a short-term gain, then of course what I would be doing is waiting for this price to do something like this above the support line and that trend line, come back down and then do this. Okay, so once the price has re-established itself here, it's very easy to put on a stop, isn't it? You can see the support line. If it does that, then you can take it to the previous high, give yourself 2-to-1, or you can go for a much bigger one, of course, if you want to, because this is going to $100, probably by about June. So I've been saying it's going to $70,000 since December, November even, and it's done that, and further upside is likely to happen. And one of the other things I would suggest for you is to, once you've got the price action charts, all you do is left click here, add an alert, and you can call it what you like. I'm just going to type in buy Bitcoin, and I'll throw that into the VIP room to say that basically when it gets to this area here, let me draw a picture, lines there. So once it gets into that area, which is then got support, then I'm much more interested in calculating the stop down here and maybe the target up here. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's just dive through some of these just as a bit of fun. We've seen the euro dollar move back there into the trend. Not doing much now, of course, because of the inflation figures coming up. We've seen pound USD come into the liquidity zone in an uptrend. Now this is interesting. The US yen, I'll put a signal in here, which is a price action chart on the higher time frame, the 4-hour chart, but because it's got negative divergence. But in the short term, it's got an uptrend, hasn't it? So as you can see, the liquidity zone is below the support line. If the liquidity zone was right on the support line, then we'd be looking for a buy. Aussie USD, lovely move here. This is a fantastic move. I showed this earlier. But this is what you're looking for, the price to come into liquidity on the support line. This is really important. So that's what we call convergence. Convergence, then we have a breakout of that trend line. That is the perfect trade. Now you could have got in earlier if you want to be a sniper trader, and it makes sense more to do that because your risk to reward is massive, 5 times, 6 times, 10 times often. And then you're risking 13 pips as opposed to possibly 30 or 40. So look out for that. And the key to look out for in your price action charts once you have them is to look for the liquidity zone on the support line. Convergence is really, really important. Let's have a look at a few more, see if I can find a few more. Euro New Zealand, nice downtrend into the yellow zone. Excuse me, pound New Zealand into the yellow zone in a downtrend. They don't have to be parabolic, so you can have more trades more often. This is parabolic, Aussie New Zealand. We've been in this for a long time, haven't we? Done fantastic well. And now this is getting ready, isn't it? So you can see that the liquidity zone is sitting on the support area. So in order for this price to go down, it has to completely change trends. Now, I've been in this several times and we've been in it for the long term, so I'm quite happy to wait for this price to break into this area here, and I've got an alert as well. Euro Aussie, I'll show you a few more of these as we go. Yellow zone sitting on a resistance area. Pound Aussie, done this one earlier as well. Done yellow zone sitting on a resistance area. Euro Canadian. You get the picture. Very powerful charts. Very powerful charts. Just going to flick through these as a... See, now you've got this Aussie Swiss into a yellow zone, which is a selling area, but you can see the trend is upwards. Short-term trend anyway, it's not parabolic. So you don't want to be selling it ideally, you want to be buying it down here. Euro Swiss, don't like that pair. Oh, there you go, Canadian Swiss going down, but you can see that here, how do you work out your stop? You're going to have to, if you're desperate for a trade, you're going to have a much wider stop, aren't you, to cover that resistance area. So that's not ideal. Again, about being patient, waiting for the market to come to you rather than you go to the market. So if this yellow zone was sitting on this resistance area, then of course that would be much, much better. Pound Swiss, let's have a look at that. In a slight uptrend, but nothing to write home about. There you go. Isn't that a great picture there? Convergence. It's very powerful. Convergence, very, very powerful. We often talk about divergence, don't we? This is convergent. This is where it hits an area of interest and there's multiple signs that it's going to bounce. Looks like the yen's starting to come off. As I've mentioned, there could be a bounce. It looks like a bounce is happening, actually. So, US Canadian, is there a liquidity zone sitting on the convergence area? No, it's not good enough. Kiwi, Aussie, US Swiss, dollars are very mixed this today, and so is gold. So looking very mixed, but it's a fantastic way to trade. If you're looking to actually build an income, you know, $100, $500 a day, it's a great way to do it. Any questions, come back to me. If you want the charts, just let me know.